Hello, welcome back to episode 2 of Frank and Friends. Today is exciting because I gave you all some homework. We're going to follow up on that. I want to invest in our first stock, and a good friend of mine from high school is here with some great products, and then some stocks that make the news. We're going to discuss from our magazine, and we're going to move on out of here. So let's start with the homework that I gave you. I told you all to pick a brokerage, right? There are many. There is Robinhood, there's Fidelity. I gave you a whole bunch of them, told you to look them up. If you missed that, go back to episode 1. But you should have a brokerage. And then I told you to go around your house and see what you spend money on and make a list. Because it's important, I believe, to invest in companies that you spend money on, right? Why make other people rich when you can be making them rich and yourself rich through investing? Because today we're supposed to invest in our first stock, and I'm going to walk you through that process today so that you can get started, right? No matter if you have to invest $1, or if you're investing $100, or you're investing $500, we're going to start today, and for the rest of the year, we're going to watch that stock grow. I'm going to be with you on your investing journey. All right. Like I said, I had a great guest who also does some investing. We talk about stocks on Facebook all the time, and I want to bring her on for this first part about my first stock, and I want to tell you what my first stock is, and she's going to tell you what her first stock is. So without further ado, I want to bring on my guest today, Telisha Emerson. Telisha, how are you today?
I am great, thank you.
So as you heard, I'm talking about people getting invested in their first stock, and you invest, right?
Yeah, I definitely.
Now, do you remember the first time you invested and what your first stock was?
Yeah, my first stock, to echo what you said, like why keep making people rich, right? Invest in something that you often buy or partake in. So my first stock was with Royal Caribbean. And so I think all the stocks thereafter were definitely travel related, because I'm a big fan of paying for and investing in experiences. So of course, United, American Airlines, Carnival, Norwegian are a part of my portfolio. But my very first stock was Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, so my very first stock way back when was actually Apple, which is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I'm an Android person, though. So I'm an Android person.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yes, except for my iPad. I'm in love with my iPad, which is what I have right in front of me. But my first one was Apple, and I have been Apple crazy ever since, stock-wise.
Okay. Did you get a chance to catch that Tesla stock when it dropped down to $200 a share? I think right before the pandemic or right after the pandemic was like $50. So did you get a chance to catch some of that stock?
I did right before the stock split. I did, okay. And it went crazy. Okay. For those that are listening, Tesla is, as you know, an electric car company, but they did a stock split, which I'm gonna get to in an episode. But like I said in the first episode, as Telisha was saying, you want to get a stock when it is low, right? When the stock is in the news and everybody's on it already, and it's like all the way up high, they don't want to get it. And I'm trying to teach people that to Telisha, that just don't follow the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get it when it's low, as opposed to paying for it when it's high.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's talk about you real quick and what you have going on. I'm excited. I was scrolling through Facebook one day and I saw that you had went ahead and started a business, which I think is great. So let's talk about what you got going on. Morph Beauty, how did that come about? What made you do it? All that good stuff.
Sure. So I'm in e-commerce, as you know, and I've been an e-commerce professional for a while. And just through my, I would say metamorphosis is what I call it. And just through my journey, the last 5 years have been all about change and just becoming a better person and just really kind of getting into those industries that I love and working for those companies that I love and brands I love. And it goes back to what you were saying about investing in those things that you love and those things that you spend a lot of money on. So it's just like career-wise, it's like I'm in e-commerce, so I want to be very passionate about who I'm working for and what the industry that I'm working for. And so I had been trying to get into Ulta Beauty for a while, and I had a few instances where I was almost in the door, and then something happened, and it's like, oh my god. And so after just becoming like very frustrated with not being able to join their e-commerce team, I had an echo chamber, which is my boyfriend, and I said, hey, I can't seem to get in the door. I really love to work for us, really, obviously, but be a good addition to the e-commerce team. And it was an e-commerce management position, and I knew like I would rock that position because I'm passionate about that brand and I'm passionate about their products. So I'm an avid shea butter user. I have been for years, especially the last 5 years. And he came up with the idea and said, hey, you use shea butter. Why won't we start a shea butter business, whipped shea butter? And it's like, yeah. If we do it whipped, though, it has to be different fragrances. It has to kind of initially, cater to a female audience. And so he was on board, and we came up with Morph Beauty. Morph because metamorphosis is what I was thinking at that time. And it's like, well, how can we shorten this word? So it came about that morphbeauty.com was going to specialize in shea butter products, starting with whipped shea butter. So whipped shea butter was or is our first product, and I call it our flagship product. And it comes in 6 different fragrances, one being unscented, and then the others being fragrances that I thought would be good combinations and that I thought would be alluring, because our tagline is choose natural, feel alluring, be morphed. And as a woman and as a female and as somebody who likes to doll up and go out, it's like you want to smell good. You always want to smell or feel dainty. You always want to feel attractive. You always want to feel alluring. So with these fragrance combinations, I thought they would be head turners. Like if you lather up with these and go out, and even if you lather up with these just for a good night's rest or before you take a good night's rest, it makes you feel a certain way. So this one I'm holding is Strawberry Banana. That is a good seller. But my best seller is Pineapple Melon. Everyone seems to love that, and that happens to be my favorite. We also have Peach Vanilla, which reminds you of Peach Cobbler. I had him meaning the manufacturer, to formulate that one where it smells like Peach Cobbler, because again, we want to if you can eat it, or if you feel like you can eat it, our job is done. And I would tell people that. So mango lavender, which is a more floral scent, and as well as guava passion fruit. So those are the 6. And my whole marketing theme came from Eve in the Garden of Eden. Like, okay, Adam ate that fruit. I think Adam knew he wasn't supposed to eat that fruit. So she had to be really looking good, smelling good in that garden. And how was she smelling good, right? Because she didn't have all the things back then that we have now. So it was the fruit, it was the trees, it was everything natural that Eve could smell good, could look good, could doll up with, to ultimately entice Adam to eat the fruit. So that was my whole marketing campaign. Just started there in the Garden of Eden, and my forbidden fruit. Me and my forbidden fruit have been rolling ever since. So all of the scents are fruity and floral. I am going to do a men's fragrance. I'm still thinking about what fragrances I want to add, but I am going to do a men's collection. I'm going to call it Adam's Apple. And forthcoming is a Bathsheba's Beguile collection. And that's going to be like shea butter body wash, shea butter bath bomb, shea butter body scrub, and even bamboo bath accessories. So I have a lot in the works, but I, again, started with the whipped shea butter. I have 2 versions. As I mentioned, I have the flagship version, which is what our manufacturer makes. It has healthy preservatives in it to extend the shelf life. It has sunscreen in it. And then I have the 100% natural that contains natural butters and oils, and no preservatives at all. And those also come in different fragrances such as blueberry, black vanilla, watermelon, pineapple, banana. So again, more forbidden fruit have been added to the collection, and I call this the actually the 100% natural collection is called the Serpent Spell collection, and I call that our happy medium because that is 4 ounces. So with the launch party collection, which is our flagship product, it comes in 8 and 2 ounces. But the 100% natural, the Serpent Spell collection, again, is our happy medium, and it comes in 4 ounces. And cute little tin comes in 4 ounces. That and yeah, it's been exciting to develop these products and even just come up with ideas. I think I'm a creative person. I'm more of a right brain person, so it's just been exciting just planning and etching out ideas and just see them come to fruition, and even being able to have a plan B and things don't pan out the way I want them to has been equally rewarding. So that there you have it, morphbeauty.com.
So I have a podcast with some of my Cubs associates, and I talk about food all the time. And peach cobbler is the one that I talk about all the time. So I'm gonna have to buy my mom some of that peach cobbler
Definitely.
that you have there, because that's like, I'm sure people that are watching this who come from the podcast know as soon as they heard peach cobbler, they know I was gonna go crazy. So I will be buying some of that from my mom. So definitely look out for that. I just love food. As a matter of fact, I was in the store today. I was in the mood for some black eyed peas and some neckbones and some cornbread, and it's like summertime, and I'm like, yeah.
You took it back down south,
for
sure.
Yeah. And matter of fact, speaking of taking it back, we actually know each other from high school back in the day. So like,
class of '96. Yep.
Yes. So do you now? This is going to be something that I didn't think of it right now, but I heard that they're changing the mascot. What do you thought about that? I didn't warn you about this, but now it just popped in my head. But what do you think about the whole mascot situation and our old school changing it?
I think I was kind of disappointed, but I understand the reasoning behind it, right? But I think it was kind of disappointing because I was proud. I am proud of being a Lane Tech Indian, and so just to have that change, and you're so used to saying, "Oh, the Lane Tech Indians" or "Class of '96 Indian," and so it's definitely going to be a different rather, and it's definitely going to be a change that we all have to get used to. But again, I understand the reasoning why. What are your thoughts on it?
I feel like, and I feel the same way with the Confederate statue situation, is that if something is upsetting and a large amount of people, I shouldn't be so selfish that I want to keep it to myself and have those people be hurt all the time. So I believe that, if something is hurting a large amount of people, I don't want to be the one that says, okay, well, keep it just for my, even though I like it, by the way, I love Lane Tech more than college. Like,
I tell people that all the time. And as much, I have a bunch of friends that went to HBCUs, and so I know they definitely had great experiences with the battle of the bands and everything. But I tell people all the time, I got my college experience at Lane Tech. It was so much fun. It was so diverse. And when you mentioned the Indian, just during halftime, just seeing the mascot come out and dance, and with the cheerleaders and the pom-pom squad, it was just one big college experience. So I agree with you there.
Now, before I let you go, because I want to talk about stock in the news, I want to talk about one thing that's in my magazine. I know you read it, and that is Airbnb, which is a stock that I actually got when it first came out. But the article talks about how Airbnb is getting almost as expensive as hotels are. So do you have any Airbnb experiences or stories? I'm still afraid to go and get one. I'm afraid that I'm going to have a reservation and I get there and I'm not going to be able to get in. I'm going to be stranded. But do you have any, what is your Airbnb experience?
Well, I will say this. I've always had good Airbnb experiences. I think the only one I didn't was last year. I went to Tulum. And I don't think it was because of the property or the property manager. It was because we went to the jungle. We stayed in the jungle, and there were bugs. There were bugs everywhere, and they were getting into the unit, and I wasn't quite prepared for that. But for the most part, my Airbnb experiences have been very good. I will say that while traveling, if I was typically when I was looking for cheaper options, I would go to Airbnb.com and find cheaper options and be able to have, a very economically friendly trip. However, I noticed when researching for lodging for my trip to Spain that Airbnb is becoming much or as expensive as hotels. And it's like, well, I don't get the added security that I do at a hotel. Even, at times free bus shuttles if you're staying at a 3-star. Sometimes you get breakfast. So it's like, why would I pay for this Airbnb when I don't get, again, the amenities that I'm going to get for staying at a hotel? So I might as well stay at a hotel. The only difference I guess I get is privacy. I don't have a room. Maybe I have a house, or maybe I have a 2-bedroom and 2-bath. But again, it is becoming where it's not worth it to me. So I'm going to agree with the article and saying, hey, it's not a deal anymore to get an Airbnb. It is just becoming just as competitive as the hotel chain. And in that case, what are homeowners, or how are homeowners giving incentives to people to rent from them? And I guess at this point, they're not. Everybody's trying to rebound from the pandemic, and that's just what it is right now.
All right. Yep. And I totally agree. So before I let you go, the Frank and Friends is a show that is geared towards new investors who have like zero experience investing, learning from the ground up. It's open for anybody, but predominantly people of color. Do you have any thoughts or words of encouragement for people who are just starting to invest for the first time?
Well, I won't say I'm an advanced investor. I would just say, I guess when I start investing, it goes back to our earlier point. Why am I buying so many clothes or shoes? I can take this $50 and go buy stock in Royal Caribbean. At what point do I feel that investing in myself outside of the physical, outside of material things, is worth it? And so I kind of got in that mindset where I wanted to start saving more money and work towards building more wealth. And I think for a new investor, maybe that obviously should always be in the forefront is, how can I move towards building more wealth versus being an avid consumer, right? How can I, again, build more wealth? And I think that should always be at the forefront when you're investing, or when you decide to invest, or something that keeps you motivated to invest as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being my first guest on Frank and Friends. I'm going to get some peach cobbler from my mom. Definitely going to get that. And I hope everybody goes out and checks out morphbeauty.com. Thank you very much, Telisha, and have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks for having me. I know I was very adamant about being your first guest, so thanks for postponing things. And thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Many blessings to you, and much luck on your podcast and your YouTube and everything else that you're doing with Frank and Friends.
All right. So thank you very much. All right. So we're gonna we got about 3 minutes left. We're gonna talk about trading. So, well, I shouldn't say trading. It's just investing. But the word of the day is trade. Right. It's a difference, in my opinion, again, between investing and trading. So what I teach is investing, which is long term, for the long haul, which is why I draw it out week by week. Right. You have to have that mentality to wait and be patient. So trading is when you're buying a stock, selling a stock, buying a stock, selling a stock at any given point, whether it's in a month, a year, or what have you. If you have Robinhood, when you buy the first stock, it's going to say buy. And then when you want to get more of it, or you want to sell it, the tab is going to change from the word buy to trade. And that's all that is. People get confused when they see that the next time, like, Frank, where's the buy button? But it's really just a trade button that is there. So we want to do some investing. So last week, I told you all to make a list of things that you are going to be spending money on in your life that you should be investing in. So today we're going to go ahead and buy our first stock. I'm going to be using actually Webull. Webull actually has a paper trading account, which I like a lot. And paper trading is basically when you can trade without having to spend your own money. They give you paper money to spend, whether it's $1,000 or $500 or what have you, and then you can go and buy that. So the market is probably closed now. It's open from 8:30 to I think 3 o'clock. So whatever you buy today, it's not going to be set until the market's open. But I'm going to go ahead and assume that most people use Visa or MasterCard as a credit card, right? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to buy some Visa stock today, right? But I'm also going to buy some, and that is a pretty good amount of money. Actually, let's look up real quick how much Visa stock is today. I want to make sure I'm buying stock and using an example that fit all levels of investing, right? So not just people who have thousands of dollars, but you may only have $1, which is why Robinhood is good for beginners. So let's real quick, I'm gonna go to Robinhood and I'm gonna just see how much Visa stock is. One share. So one share of Visa is $234. So for those of you that have that kind of money, I'm gonna go ahead and buy that stock today. And then by next week, I'm gonna show you where it is. So we know right now it's at $234 what Visa is, right? But let's say that you don't have $234 and you have Robinhood, you can buy a fraction of that, right? You can buy $5 worth, $10 worth, or what have you. Now, but let's say you want to have a whole share of something, and you can't afford the $200 for a stock, right? So let's try to go to, what do you use for cable? Some of you may use AT&T for cable. So let's look up and see how much AT&T costs today. Let's see here. So AT&T right now is $29.20, right? So I want to go ahead and buy one share of AT&T at $29.20. Again, if you don't have $30, buy $5 worth, buy $1 worth. If you want to buy something, and that's why I like Robinhood. You can buy fractions of a fraction of a stock. So go ahead and do that. So we're gonna go and follow these two stocks for the next couple of weeks, actually throughout the whole year. We're going to follow these stocks and show you how they're growing, how they work, when they go up, when they go down. Let me know where you are starting at, what stocks you're having, either in the comment section below, or send me an email. My contact information will be in the description. So for my last couple of minutes, I want to talk about my investing magazine. I have some really good stories in there. I updated them today. I want to talk about one of them real quick, and that is Warren Buffett, who is my idol, right? Love me some Warren Buffett. He has a story entitled, Warren Buffett believes 3 choices in life separate winners from losers, right? 3 choices you have to make, and those choices separate the winners from the losers. So I wanted to take a look at that. Again, there's a link down below to my investing magazine, and you can get all the other stories that I have in there. Number 1 is to build up your knowledge one day at a time. I'm a huge fan of never stop learning. You heard I have a podcast that's gotten really big, actually. It's one of the top 10% podcasts globally. But when I got into it, I knew nothing about it at all whatsoever. I was going to go and just talk. But I went to conferences, I watched YouTube videos, I did so much, and I would have sponsorship by affiliates with Fanatics and Lids and all that kind of good stuff that I would not have gotten if I stopped learning and chose just to do what I thought was the right thing to do. Number 2, don't compromise your integrity. I think this is really, really, really big, right? In today's society, with all the choices we have, all the animosity, all the anger, Having to stick with your integrity matters. Character matters now more than ever. Make sure that you understand that your name is all that you have, and you want your name to be synonymous with something good, right? Not being late. Oh my God, we invited Frank. He's always late. We invited Frank. He never has any money, but he always asks us to borrow money, right? You want to be able to make sure that your name means something, right? You want to always keep your integrity. And number 3, which is my favorite, measure your success by Buffett's ultimate test. And I love this. So let me read the quote to you directly. When you get to my age, he's in his 90s, by the way, you'll really measure your success in life by how many of the people you want to have love you actually do love you. That's the ultimate test of how you have lived your life. The more you give love away, the more you get. What better way to end episode 2, Frank and Friends? I'm extremely excited to have my friend from high school, Go Lango, Lane Tech. Shout out to Telisha Emerson. Please go and make sure you check out her website. That peach cobbler. I am dying to end this so I can get to my black eyed peas and my neckbones and cornbread in the summer. Surprisingly, I love to eat all the time, as you all know. But other than that, thank you all for joining me. Join us next week for more investing for beginners, right? This is just for beginners, people who have just started, who are trying to learn it slowly, not rushing. You cannot get rich quick, but you can get rich slowly, which is why I'm doing it step by step. So join me next week for Frank and Friends. Have a good night, everybody.